Hey, it's Jordan. I'm out in Philadelphia. We were doing another interview, and I just met Kasim in McPherson Square, which is a pretty big park here in Philadelphia. And you live in the park, so I wanted to talk to you about similar things that I was talking to Veronica about. Um, they've really been going after the houseless in Philadelphia, in other states too, and cities. Can you kind of talk about your experience before the pandemic and how it changed for the better or worse during the pandemic?
Honestly, I could say it changed for the worse. Since the pandemic, you've been having people getting kicked out of their houses, coming to the park, living under the bridge, and I've been one of them. And the government been provided with money to help us, and nothing been given to be able to provide for us. You got churches coming out to provide for us, feed us, and people like y'all coming out to feed us and help us and give us advice. Now they just talking about raiding us in a park on Wednesday to kick everybody out. How do y'all get money to provide for us and still nothing come? But y'all want to kick us out and have us walk and sleep on the train and still abandon us from the good things that we supposed to get. It's been hard for me. Like, I've been sleeping on the park, I could say almost a year and a half now. So I know what it's like. I come out here, when I go out and hustle to like helping people, groceries and things like that. And I come out here and I help other people that sleep in this park with me. So I give mines to help others. So in this life, what can we do? We ask everybody that come out here, how can y'all help us? What is y'all willing to do? What can we do to help ourselves? And what advice do we get? Y'all gonna be all right. We gonna make something happen. And this been going on continuously, day after day, month after month. It's the pandemic is almost already over, and look at us. We still in the park, and nothing been given.
And could you talk about before the pandemic, were you already houseless or were you living somewhere and you got kicked out?
Bef- Before the pandemic started, I had somewhere, and it was like I was renting a room, and the building where I was staying at had got shut down. Nothing else was provided for us to go, so we all came out to the park. It's me and 7 other people that was living in the same building that's in this park, and we still out here.
What's crazy to me, and I'm glad you brought this up, the numbers are crazy. Like Texas, I think they gave them like $500 million or something like that, and only like 4% has been distributed to the people. Other states too, they've only distributed a little bit of money. So the question becomes, where the hell is this money going? Because as you're pointing out, money was supposed to go towards people who were kicked out of their homes, but also people who are houseless. It just seems crazy to me that so many people here have been bounced around, but Pennsylvania, in addition to other states, have been given hundreds of millions of dollars to go towards helping you.
Correct. Like last year, Philly was given $450 million to help us. Where did that money go? Nobody know. Oh, in the politics pocket, so they can help themselves. What about the ones that's out here sleeping in the street? What about the ones that's homeless? Nothing. Now we ain't got nowhere to stay but the park. Now y'all about to raid us on Wednesday and get us out the park when it's the only thing we know, because that's where we've been at for a year, underneath the train. So my thing is, how is it that we being out here on the streets is harming other people? We not doing nothing. Y'all got the money to provide for us, and nothing been given to even feed us. It's churches that's donating food, donating clothes, and the money was given to the government to help us.
And let me ask you too, because vaccines are so big in the news. Has the city made any efforts to try and help you, other people living here, to get vaccinated?
They just started helping other people out here in the park to get vaccinated. Rite Aid started a month ago or a month and a half ago. Free vaccinations. You got to make appointments. You could go in but if you don't have ID or insurance, you can't get vaccinated. So honestly, I can't really say it's helping, because you got people out here with nothing, who excuse me, whose everything was taken from. So how can they get vaccinated with nothing?
And also, tell me about like you people here. A lot of people think homeless or houseless and think these are all drug users and bums or whatever. But the truth is, it's a lot of normal people. I mean, they're all normal, but there's a lot of working class people that just got priced out of living in Philadelphia or fell on hard times, lost their job, and they can't afford the prices here. What was your story, if you're comfortable talking about it? And are there other people that fall into that category here?
Well, I used to do construction, and everybody know construction had stopped once the pandemic started. I wasn't able to pay my bills, nothing. So everybody that was living in the building was already getting evicted because of the COVID. So everybody came on the streets. I became homeless. Everybody out here don't do drugs. And that's what people think. Everybody out here is doing drugs and robbers, stealing, thieves, and all that. No, everybody is different. You got some people who do use drugs, and you got people who started to use drugs during the pandemic to cope. So when they come in and see us, they think everybody drug users. That's discrimination to me, because everybody is not the same. Even though if people are the same, we are the same as humans as everybody else. So we shouldn't be treated no differently. And I was working doing construction. I had it good. Once the pandemic hit, I couldn't do nothing. Work stopped, and I couldn't pay bills. I was struggling to feed myself. So I got on the streets and I started living in the park. And the park been my home since.
It's crazy. It's really ironic because President Biden's slogan during his campaign was "Build Back Better." And here you have somebody that was building for a living, construction, and through no fault of your own, you're sleeping in a park under trains. So it's just crazy to me that there's this notion in America where we're building back better, restoring the soul of the country, he said, but $400 million, who knows where it went, and people working for a living, white people, African-American people are left to sleep in the park, and the temporary relief isn't going to you, and it doesn't seem there's any permanent relief coming either.
No, ain't no permanent relief, ain't no temporary relief. But Biden say build it back up. What is getting built back up? We're not getting built back up. He's getting built back up because he's able to pocket some of the money that's coming in. We are still stuck out here in the streets. We ain't got nowhere to go. Everybody else got somewhere to sleep, somewhere to lay their heads. Besides the people that's out here struggling from losing their jobs during the pandemic, from being stuck out here to going to drugs because of the pandemic, because they ain't got nothing else to turn to. So if we was to get built back, I guarantee we can make this better. We keep this park as clean as possible. We do it, nobody else. People come out here volunteering and help, but in all results, we are the ones who continue to keep this park in good health.
Let me ask you, you were doing construction, obviously that stopped. So I would assume construction jobs are more available now as the pandemic gets a little better, but it's not exactly easy just to go back to work if you're houseless.
No, it's not. It's not easy to go back. I tried, but you also know you need to be able to fill out job applications and put a residence. My residence is the park. My thing is, what people say, you think somebody gonna hire somebody that's living on the streets? If I had housing, I'd have had a job. But I don't have nothing. I sit here and I'm living with my own clothes. I'm living with my food next to me. So my thing is, I sit here and I go out, Rite Aid, grocery stores, and helping people to put the food in their cars to make money, to help myself eat and to help others eat. So that right there shows that we are one in this part. We are one trying to hold each other together without anybody else's help.
I mean, obviously, physically, it's not easy living in a park. You were there during the cold, now the hot. Mentally,
it's destroying me. Mentally, it's destroying. And it's destroying me because at the same time, it's eating at my brain, because how can people be so naive to us out here and not willing to help us, and we battling to stay alive. We all bundled, when it was wintertime, we all bundled up together to stay warm. No heat, no nothing, body heat. So, in the rain, we all covered each other up with tarps to not get wet. So my thing is, we are trying to minimize our sicknesses. There's some people in here, everybody knows bugs in the trees, bugs in the grass. People been bitten up. They had to go to the hospital because of infections. So my thing is, we still trying, and there's no trying for us. And it's bad. Like, honestly, my mental state, I can, like, is bad. I be wanting to snap out, I be wanting to go crazy, because it's like, it's destroying me, and there's nothing else to do. But I hurt. I cry every night because of the predicament I am and everybody else.
And also, the fact that you guys were forced, being out here in the winter, to basically bundle on top of each other. You were forced to do that during a pandemic where you're supposed to stay apart from each other. So, not that you did anything wrong. I mean, you want to stay warm, but you were basically forced to risk your health to survive, which is kind of a contradiction.
Yeah, and that's my thing. They was telling us to stay 6 feet apart. But if we got to be out here bundled up, how can we risk not spreading COVID? That's what we got to do to survive. That's even though we was taking a risk, as you said. For us, we didn't see it as no risk. We seen it as staying warm during the cold. We got snow, 3 days in a row? And guess where everybody was at? Bundled up with no help. Nobody brought us blankets out here. Nothing. Everybody that made money, like going out to help people, we put our monies together and bought blankets for each other so we all could stay warm. No, nothing else.
What do you see in Philadelphia? I mean, obviously you're in the park, but you get around. Do white people that are, living in apartments, doing fine, what is their behavior towards the houseless? Do they say anything? Do they just pass you? Do they care? Whether it's white, privileged white people or, black professionals with jobs.
When you walk around Philly, you see it. You see African Americans, you see Hispanics, you see Caucasians, and they do walk right past you. They do drive past you when you asking them for a little bit of help, because they don't care, because they in a better situation than you are. So when you see that, it brings everything more into you, more hurt, because everybody should be trying to help everybody. And you see everybody on the streets and nobody trying to help. And nobody asking for $10, $20. You got people out here asking for change, 50 cents, to help. Something to drink, something to eat. And nobody could give. And that's because they got the better life. They was able to continue to keep their jobs. They was continue to go from an office to the home to work. So they was still getting income. Everybody else out here not. Everybody else out here is homeless now because they got laid off. So my thing is, if everybody was still in a situation to be able to work, people wouldn't be looking down on us. But everybody look down on us because we out here in the park. You got some neighbors that's get the F away from the playgrounds and all that when people is trying to sleep. But this is what we have for now.
And what about the media? Do journalists come out here to talk to you guys, see what your situation is, cover it in any way?
Nobody come out here and talk about our lives. Nobody come out here and hear our stories, because at the end of the day they think the stories is all nothing but irrelevant when it's not. All stories are meant to be heard. All stories will help us get something better. Our stories will help us survive longer. Like, I've been out here in this park, and guess what I've been doing out in this park when people do OD? I save them. I save 3 lives a day. Why? Because I care. because I care about who I'm around. That's what it's about. It's about standing up for one another and not looking down on one another.
And what's the last message you'd like to tell the audience? Because a lot of people are going to watch this. How could people help? If they can't come physically to help people financially, how could people get help for you, for the people here, and other people in similar situations elsewhere?
I say for people to help us out here, if you can send clothes, send blankets, give us a chance. Even if it's a little house and that you can fit at least 10, 15 people in, because everybody gonna go together and live. Even if you could give them a job, people don't care how much it is that they getting paid, even if it's $5 a day. As long as it's something for them to eat, something for them to survive on. And just give them a word of wisdom. Give them strength. Help us become a stronger and bigger community. We don't always ask for money. We don't always ask for people to give us money, because that's not what it's about with us. It's just about us surviving, us having food, drinks. So if people could deliver that, you ain't got to come here physically. You can have it shipped to the park. You can give it to people that's closer in the city to be able to drop off. And that's all we ask for.
You just lost your mother.
Correct. I buried my mom 4 days ago. I wasn't able to go to her funeral. I wasn't able to do nothing. And it eats me up. Because at the end of the day, I don't have nothing. My brother got killed 2017. My other brother upstate for the rest of his life. And I'm the only thing I got. And everybody out here that I could continue to help. And I want to continue to help them. I want to continue to stand strong. For me, myself, and everybody else. And it hurts. And I really don't have nothing. And I depend on myself to stay strong. Because I know that's what my mama want. And I know that's what I am able to do. So I appreciate everybody that do donate food, like the church that come out here. And I appreciate y'all for coming out here and interviewing people. I really do. Because it's letting our voices be heard.
Very sorry about your mom and what you're going through. I wish I had some positive thing to say, but this is what's going on in supposedly the greatest country on earth. So we're here to show it. And just a basic thing. Like I asked Kazim, do you have a way I could send you this interview when it's up? No. I mean, a lot of these people don't have phones out here, internet access. So I was telling him we'll come back and show him before we go. But I think what you said about these people, your neighbors out here that are sleeping here, being kind of your family at this point, to survive is really important for people to know.
Yeah, it is, because we all we got. And everybody out here is really kind-hearted. Everybody out here ain't angry and disrupt with themselves. Like, everybody go through their own problems. But at the same time, we all stick together as one. Make sure one another is fine, one another ate for the day. Even if it was one meal, we made sure, and we're going to continue to make sure, no matter if we get the help or not. This is family. It's going to always be family. I don't care how big I get or where I go in life. I'm going to always remember everybody out here.
By the way, this is McPherson Square in Philadelphia. McPherson Square in Philadelphia. So if you're watching this in Philly and other parts of Pennsylvania, other areas that are driving distance, it's an open park. You could come, and it's not hard to find Kasim and others here if you want to help out. Thank you so much for talking to us, because frankly, your voice is not on CNN. Your face is not on CNN or any of these outlets. And this is what people need to see that we're not back to normal. We're kind of back to the crappy normal that already existed.
Correct. And this is not normal. Everybody said, oh yeah, we're going to be back to normalcy. It will never be. Until we are all able to stand up tall as one. Me personally, I think this city is becoming destroyed by the government, by the police, by everybody, because everybody got a chance and opportunity to show and to improve, but nobody's doing it. Everybody want to see other people down. I remember when I've been in this city for 29 years, and I seen it in a better point. And I never seen it like this. Did I think I was gonna ever be in this situation? No. But I always seen how other people lived. And I know if there's a way to survive, you're gonna always survive. I don't like the government. I don't like none of it. And that's my opinion. Because at the end of the day, when you see somebody struggling, when you see nobody have housing, when you see nobody has food, water, you just let them rot. Where's the help at? Where's everybody that say they're going to be out here to help? Where's everybody at that says they're going to stand as one? America will never be great again. As Biden say, he here to rebuild. No. It's going to fall unless we all stick together.